Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk,
Taking
where we have the unfiltered, uncomfortable,
Let's get down.
conversation.
Taking down.
All right.
All right. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music, education, and more. Let me go ahead and introduce the panel real quick. To my right, we got Quan. And under that, she's making another guest appearance because we didn't see her last week. Portia. All right, man. Well, I ain't gonna talk about my day just yet. How's everybody doing? Portia, how you doing? How were you doing last week? We missed you on last week.
You need to blame the Norfolk State University Spartan Legion band staff. They ain't leave my house to almost 11:30.
Oh, it was party at your house. Oh yeah, I forgot you told us at your house. Yeah.
So that's why I wasn't here. I'm extremely sleepy today, but happy to be here. Yeah.
I'm a little bit sleepy myself. I'm not even gonna lie. Once again, I'll talk about my day in a second. Quan, how you doing, brother?
I'm cool, man.
I want to give you virtual hugs, bro. I do. I want to give you a virtual hug. There you go. This is just, today has been a day. Without any stretch of the imagination, today has just been a day. I have been trying to mentally get through the day, and it has been a struggle. Just so much stuff going on and trying to take care of so many things within little windows. So much so that I literally just got finished taking off fries off the stove from a Cheery. I got it right here in the bucket.
Them joints crispy too, so you did that. Yeah, got a little crunch.
I usually don't eat on camera, but I had to show you that I had it. Anyway, so today has just been a long day. It's just been one of them days. So hopefully today is going, or today's conversation is going to be some time to be able to release some stress and kind of get back to what we do. I will say this platform has changed a little bit. I don't know what it looks like on y'all end, but on this end, the colors changed. They got some new things on here. So through this whole day, if I start doing some stuff or some stuff pops up that just doesn't look like the normal thing, it's because I'm over here playing with some stuff. Pause. Playing with some applications on this particular program. There we go. Had to put it out there. Didn't want anybody to, misconstrue what I was saying. All right. Let's go ahead and get this. I'm trying, y'all. We're gonna make it. We're gonna make it through this one.
I do want to
go ahead.
Now I do want to say I haven't had a chance yet, but I do want to say congratulations to my big bro and mentor Eric Jimenez. He got a new position with Con Selmer. So that's pretty dope. Hey, you froze, Julie. Oh, there you go. So yeah, he got a new position at Con Selmer. Big ups to him. I had a short conversation. I was asking him about some things, and we got into that. Congratulations to him. I don't know if we said it last week, but congratulations to all of the doctors that became doctors last week. Dr. Taylor, Kedrick Taylor, Fred, Dr. Taylor Whitehead, another Alpha Brothers. Boys did it. It was 4 or 5 of them, that received their doctorate last week. So congratulations again. Oh, Dr. Jonathan Allen from Langston, another frat brother. Like the mouth has been graduating, man. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, come on, Portia. Don't do us like that. Don't you do us like that. We party hard, we stay up late. But most of all,
we
graduate. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey man, no, but congratulations to all of them, man. I definitely saw all of those things happening and going down. And so I'm glad you said it, because I'm telling you right now, mentally, I had completely checked out and forgot about it. Yeah, you got that cookie going.
Juliet, Dr. Juliet Boykins.
Yes. Dr. Juliet Boykins. Yes, everybody's getting them daddies. So much so.
Not me.
For like 5 minutes, when I see people hit the graduate daddy, I was sitting there like, maybe I should go back. No, maybe it was only 5 minutes, and then I came back. I was like, no, I'm good. I ain't there yet. I ain't there yet. I'm just not. So I don't know. It may change within the next 10 years, but before then, congratulations to everybody. I don't know if Quan froze the cookie in his mouth. Hold up. Is he moving? Did he move?
I'm moving.
Or you not? Portia,
I'm
you see what
moving.
I'm seeing?
No, he moving for me. He going like this.
Oh, Smith's daddy. So it was me. I mean, now I see him. Anyway. Yeah. But I do have some news. I'm gonna say this. We have a show planned, and I've spoken to Quan about it. I ain't spoken to Portia about it yet, because she been having parties at our house. But we have a show coming up. I'm still in talks in this particular show, but let's just say, and I'm not gonna put the officialness of said show out, but let's just say I've been talking to Burger Brooks about this particular show. And so we are working on that as we speak. So if you know who I'm talking about, then just know that we got something good cooking in the background. All right, cool. As he finishes that cookie, let's go ahead and get to our first topic. So let's do it the right way. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Don't even wait on it. Go ahead and smash that like daddy right now. That just keeps you from having to do it later. And I mean, I'm just going to continue to say it, but at least you would have done it early. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passion Is Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcast, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. All right, so on last week we had the pleasure of having some brothers from DCI. Rick made a special appearance on here on last week. Everybody was happy to see Rick. Oh, Rick's back! Oh, that's my baby. Yeah, that's what everybody was saying in the comments. And then we also had some brothers from Georgia Mass Band who was representing the mass band side of things. And honestly, I think we had a really good conversation. We were able to really discuss some of the things that have been happening in both sides of the culture. As we know, summer is coming up, and both of those things will be going on at the same time. And so we had a chance to discuss also the differences and the similarities. Portia, I don't know if you were able to catch that show, but I did try to bring up some auxiliary stuff in the process of that show. I tried to bring it up. I know one thing that they did say, I know Georgia specifically said that at the time they weren't looking to incorporate any color guard, but as far as their dance side of things, they have some really, really good girls who are allowing young ladies to come in and leave better than what they came in. And also to say that when they are having their auditions, that they are truly looking at technique when it comes to their audition. So that was the information that they gave. I just took it in. I said, okay. I was glad to hear it. And then outside of that, you kind of weren't here to be able to get anything in, but it's all good. I ain't tripping.
I was trying to do my little part-time job. I was just trying to do a little part-time job.
Hey, I'm not hating on you. You good.
Bro. Yeah, and a little job.
I mean, it really is a big job. It's a big
Big
job. Hey man, could you drink some water? Drink some water. Whoever coughing. I'm sorry. My children over there. Anyway, but Quan, just real quick, man, what do you think? How do you think the conversation went? What are your thoughts and what feedback do you have from that?
I think the show was first of all, I think the show was very respectful. That's first and foremost. I think as individuals.
Why is Crystal's picture up here? Crystal, why is your picture up here when I cut this thing off?
No, it ain't.
We don't see it.
What are y'all seeing? I see Crystals. What do y'all see?
We don't see that.
Nope, I see us.
Okay, I don't understand. All right, no problem.
And
All right,
then
go
I
ahead.
see when you go off camera, I see talk logo.
I see
That's-
Crystal's logo. I'm gonna show y'all in a minute. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Quan.
Rudeness. No, I mean, I feel like it was a very respectful show. Not what Julian is doing right now, but it was a very respectful show. And even though we may have agreed to disagree, we still did it in a manner of respect and professionalism, which I think that's all what we've been saying, on this entire podcast since its inception. At the end of the day, we will not agree with everything, but I think it's about your approach and delivery to those differences. Peace and blessings to those brothers. I hope, them for a successful year. I've seen some of the practice videos. They like almost 3 times bigger than they were last year. So, I mean, like I say, big ups to them. Big ups to all of the summer band groups that's doing well and doing what's right. Also, big ups to the there's a lot of national National Battle of the Bands band camps that's happening around Texas. I don't know if it's happening in other states, but I know it's that. So I think it was a good conversation last week. I don't think we got down as far as we could have, but I think it was a good show.
As I said when I started the conversation, I wanted to make sure that both sides were heard. I wanted to make sure that we had civil conversation and it wasn't about going back and forth with the hate or massive disagreements that could have turned to another side of things. And so I think that we did kind of do a good job of holding that and just having a civil conversation. I don't think that it went bad at all. Now, today is the day when we can get to the. No, I'm just playing. No, we're not doing that. So anyway, no, I didn't cut my braids off. I let my hair out, man. And my hats don't fit no more because of my hair. So yeah, as my hair I was wearing the hats as my hair was growing, but now they just don't fit. So anyway, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and get to the first topic. And these are some things that kind of came to mind when we were having the conversation and post conversation. So one of the things that I know that I kind of said as we were ending the show, and I kind of want to bring this up, is there less value in HBCU marching band culture than its counterparts? Is there less value in HBCU marching band culture than its counterparts? Obviously, Quan, you're my right, so you go ahead and start.
Repeat the question again for me, bro. Like right for it talk.
Is there less value in HBCU marching band culture than its counterparts? Do people value HBCU marching band culture, mass band, so on and so forth, less than they value the PWI programs, the core style programs, the DCI, so on and so forth?
Okay, I'm gonna take this turn. We value it more over here, and I'm gonna tell you why. In my opinion, when it comes to HBCUs, we've already established on the show time and time after again, for the most part, in the Department of Music, that's who's going to get the most money, right? Like when it comes to organization scholarship from the music department, they're going to get the most money. PWI bands, they like a great band, don't get it twisted, but that's not their focus. Their focus is the department. Their focus is if they have a school of music, so forth and so on. Yeah, they'd like to have a good band, but their main focus is not marching band, right? When it comes to us, if you don't have a good band at a black school, they really talking about you. And so then on the flip side, it's not so much that I feel like we value our HBCU marching bands, but we devalue the music department. I think that's what's going on. So in my opinion, do we value it less? No, we value it more, but we devalue or have diminished the music department. So we're not making music educators. We're literally making band heads. There you go.
You going into some territory that we was going to talk about, but don't worry about it. We good. It's okay. Good. All right, Portia, is there less value in HBCU marching band culture than its counterparts?
I don't even know what to say about this. Is there less value? I guess it depends on the perspective. I agree with a lot of what Quan said. I think on some things we're torn. Like our culture values HBCU marching band and good HBCU marching band. I think we're kind of torn about this whole, I'm going to say mass band. I won't call it all-star band, mass band thing. I mean, it's fairly new. But I think in valuing that culture, sometimes we forget that, y'all probably going to be mad at me for saying this, there are no professional marching bands that for these masses of people to go to. I do think on the flip side, DCI is valued. But their marching bands, I mean, there are some outstanding top tier PWI bands that people root for, but overall, that's not a huge thing. Most PWIs have like pep bands or larger pep bands. They don't really have what we would consider a marching band. So it just depends on what side of the spectrum or what lens you're looking at this through.
So
I think we view parts and pieces of each of these through different lenses is how I'll say it.
So I got a question, Portia. So from a financial standpoint and an academic standpoint, how do we value it? Damn. And
Portia,
she would
what do you know?
and we would disappear just like this.
You said I was not answering that weak question that you was asking. I am not answering that. That's a myth.
Man, it was almost like rapture happened. Now we gone in a blink of an eye.
Like, wait a minute, why is this screen black? What did I do?
But did you hear the question?
Yeah, who's generating money or who's spending money?
No, so I guess from a value. So when we're speaking about the value of both, I guess, sectors of band, from your opinion, financially and academically, what do we value more?
That's a tough question. Because some colleges I found out want good, and I'm talking about our people, want good marching bands, but don't want to put money in it. They want you to Houdini it. Figure it out. But you better be amazing. And then there are some schools that are going to pour more into their marching band than they do into the actual music department, which is weird. Academic, Is there some growth happening during marching band? Yeah, I won't say that people aren't growing at all. I won't say that. But from an academic standpoint, at least with the schedule that we keep, you're probably getting more done and growing the students more in the spring when marching band is not necessarily a factor. And there's more smaller ensembles, more one-on-one attention, more attention to the things that need to be developed in that student or within the ensemble. So it just depends on the university. But oftentimes, if the school values their marching band, they're going to pour more money into that than they do the academic side of it, which is contradictory, because if you poured into the academic side, the marching band part would probably get better and grow. But that's my opinion.
So a couple of things popped up in my head.
I'm sorry, before you say that, somebody asked me, am I drinking beer? I am not. It is a Martinelli's, a sparkling Martinelli's. Martinelli's apple juice is the bomb, but the sparkling one is next level. So I'm not drinking beer. Thank you.
I thought it was a little Corona. No advertising.
Right.
Oh, sorry.
No advertising.
Anyway, I edit that out and post. Now I'm just playing. This live. I mean, it's tight now. So a couple of things came to mind when you guys were talking, and then I saw Malik say something to the effect of more PWIs seem to be more about the entertainment factor, or I think he said clubs. The bands tend to be clubs. It was something to that degree. Interesting thing that I'm finding out more and more is the fact that most PWIs ain't got scholarships. A lot of them ain't got scholarships.
Facts.
Not for marching band.
Not for marching band, right? And a lot of them have full marching band programs. 200, 280, 300, so on and so forth. So can you say that, could you make the determination that the university the university values music education more than they value the marching band? Could you make that determination from that information?
Well, I think most of the time in that situation, they're recruiting for the music program and not the marching band. Some of them have as much participation as they do, because normally if you're getting a music degree, participating in an ensemble every semester is a thing. And some of them want to be in it. There are probably some outliers who I played this instrument in high school. I'm going to this school getting this engineering degree, and I want to, play in the band and get to go to the football games. But I don't know that you can separate the two. I honestly think if we recruited, built, expanded, grew our music departments at the HBCUs that have them, that the marching bands would actually get better. But that's just my personal opinion. Who am I?
Okay. And then second random question is, we talked or Quan brought up the idea of and I think you kind of piggybacked off of it, we as a people respect what we do. But I want to pose this question here. Do we respect it from an entertainment value standpoint? And then we respect like drum corps from a educational value standpoint?
Well, that depends on who you're speaking to.
But see, before, and I know where you're going. I just want to really interject this before you go. Mm-hmm. You run into a lot of HBCU guys who are like, yeah, I bang with drum corps. Like they like it, like they really like it, but they like it for not necessarily the entertainment value that it gives, but the level of musicianship that's in it. Whereas a lot of people listen to more HBCU bands because of the entertainment value. So with that thought, go ahead.
So for me, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong for saying this, but I'll just say it. I feel like at the end of the day, if you're a person that operates in the HBCU realm, but then you're a proponent of just playing loud, then that's kind of like disingenuous and hypocritical in the same fact. By literally saying, well, I rock with the DCI, but I rock with it from from the musical aspect, if you're not willing to learn those same approaches and pedagogical aspects. I feel like that's disingenuous. You dig what I'm saying? That's like saying, yeah, bro. I mean, and let me be fair, we all could look at somebody and be like, man, that person in shape. I really wish I was in shape. And then I just finished eating cookies. So I get it. You dig what I'm saying? But I just look at it from the aspect, if that's something that's in your control and you can approach it differently, then do that, especially if you have that opportunity to do so. In my opinion, I feel like from the entertainment aspect, specifically with HBCUs, because it's relatable. Think about it. The songs that they're playing is relatable. I can go like when every now and then I go to YouTube and listen to Jackson State. It's a song they play called Free D Dog by YB. Like I go listen to that because why? YB is relatable. You know, Escape, the songs that we know for our culture, those things are relatable. So that's an entertainment aspect. Now, when you step into the realm of did it have runs and trills and all of that good stuff, that's just upping the ante from a musician aspect. But it's completely different when you're saying you're looking at something DCI show that is completely original, and I'm going to critique this for the benefit of myself as a musician, then that's different. So yes, I do agree that DCI has aspects of musicianship, but the people that's saying that, I don't think that's just totally true, bro. Did that make sense?
It did, except for me, the last part. You don't, because you don't believe it's totally true that people are listening to DCI for the musicianship aspect,
for the entertainment aspect.
Oh well, no, that's what you. So your thought process is they're only listening to it for a musicianship aspect.
If you're in the HBCU world, in my opinion, you're listening to it for entertainment, not quote unquote pedagogy.
Yeah,
that's my opinion.
Okay, all right, cool, all right.
But then again, you listening to HBCU for entertainment.
But okay, I agree. I agree. Hold up. Let me find it. I'm old.
Today.
Miss you, Maya.
I agree.
There we go. But yeah. I think there's some truth to that. Like Malik is bringing it up right now. Like the lots are entertaining. I mean, let's just keep it 100. The lots in the DCI competition is entertaining. Most would argue that watching the show is boring, though.
I would say that.
I don't agree because I'm looking at that auxiliary.
But you a color guard person, so
they be doing some.
They do.
Can I be real? I look at the parking lot as educational, and I look at the show as how did they take that approach from the parking lot and then put it on that field. And then how did that as a team to create this, showcase? Because I think that's the difference. And I think that's the advantage that DCI has over HBCUs. Like Portia was saying, like, that's like the Legion is our side gig, a big side gig, respectfully, but it's a side gig. Think about DCI. Like you and I know, like I was at the old sound sport level. And it was how many people was out there? Me, you, Kelton, Chris, 3, 4, 5 visual people. Like even for that small core, they had about 10 people like on staff. 10. Okay, so that's even proving my point. We wish we could have 10 people on staff at the HBCU to sit down and plan something. I mean, it's just different, bro. It's just different.
I mean, structurally, you're absolutely right. It is different. But I think, what you started saying to me leans more towards the educational side, because you yourself said highlight. Anyway, sorry, I'm sorry, I'm looking at what Outlaw said, but anyway, but you yourself said it's educational for you listening to them in the lots, and then when you're on the field, you're in your mind trying to figure out how they transfer what they did to the lot to the field. To me, all of that is part of education, though.
For Quan, no. But like,
Yeah.
let's speak about the average band head.
I got you. As soon as you say it for Quan, though, then
Yeah, you dig what I'm saying? So like, I think it's entertainment if you're a band head and then you listen to Space Chords or your boy for Carolina Crowns, you know, drop the hammer as they say.
yeah.
Like, yeah, that's fire. But you're not about to sit down because there's a video, the theoretical approach on how he created that. You possibly won't sit down and listen to that though. How he literally at the piano and do open voices. You may, because you're Julian Luke. Another band head may not. That's all I'm saying.
That's true. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Let's go ahead and move on. Portia gonna finish her high life off. Y'all don't remember that commercial where the big dude was sitting in the middle of a room and he just said high life, and that was it? Y'all remember that?
No, bro. I've never drunk a beer in my life, so I don't know.
So first of all, it ain't got nothing to do with the beer, drinking a beer. It was just a commercial, and I thought the commercial was hilarious because that's all you got. There she go. Boom. All right, anyway, let's move on. Welcome to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and tap that like daddy right now. Don't even wait on it. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionate Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. And she's drinking another liquor out the NSU cup. My goodness, you are trying to get floosted tonight. Subscribe to the Passionate.
I'm dehydrated.
That is high quality H2O.
I'm dehydrated.
Mm-hmm. I don't even remember where I was at. Just subscribe to the network and turn on notifications. There you go. All right. Let's move on. Are there too many band heads and not enough music educators? Are there too many band heads and not enough music educators? I'm gonna let Portia handle this first because Quan.
I didn't say it, but you ready?
You ain't say it.
But you ready?
Saying band heads in classrooms?
Yeah.
Probably. They didn't probably. Most people. Most people not saying, I want to go to school. Some people will say, I'm a music major, but most of them will say I want to be a band director, and the education piece is missing. So I do think so. And then I think a lot of people, instead of like there are a lot more middle school marching bands now, and that just wasn't a thing that I remember, because that was a heavy time of education. And so I think this band head mentality is trying to implement marching band in every aspect of life, including middle schools. I was about to say, what are they? Mass bands, all this other stuff. These people are trying to push the culture into a year-round thing, which no, baby, not for me. Yeah, it's a lot of band heads that are trying to turn other kids into band heads. So the culture is just being perpetuated because a lot of people just want to blow that and sound like the loudest thing possible, no matter the size of the band. So, yep, this band head culture is spreading throughout the world and throughout the school systems. And help us, Lord, in the next 10 years. I don't know what it's gonna be like, but I won't be coaching by then, so you know it ain't gonna matter.
Okay. Quan, I'm not even gonna ask the question. Just go for it, bro.
All right. So what I realize is this is my 4th year at this school. We're creating, it's more bandheads in the classroom because they're not thinking about the greater good of the program and the children for the most part. It's ego driven. As a band director, let me put it out there. Not saying everybody, because that would be disingenuous of me. But there's a lot of people that focus on themselves, their arrangements, and getting their name out there. As a head band director, and in a lot of our situations, you may be the only band director at your particular school. You do more admin work than teaching pedagogy. You have a kid that you're dealing with their emotions, their home life. Then if you have other classes, then the advancement of you, the politics of school, so forth and so on. At the end of the day, it's more administrative work to ensure that your program is functioning properly. I don't care if it's from ensuring that you got a band booster club to getting water or ordering buses. I wish I had more time to score study and do things like that. But see, that's the problem. Many people think they graduate as a music major and then you get out of school and I'm going to build this colossal band program, regardless of the area that they're teaching in, regardless if it was a revolving door. They just have the vision of, I'm going to build this great program and then it's going to be like that. It's not true, bro. And as a musician, as a musician and band director, as you experience other things, you grow as well. It's a lot of people that I see, and no lie, we've been guilty of it, but more and more that I surround myself around the right people. When we go to TMEA, we do hit them classes. Still to this day, we go in and we kick it, but we're still learning. We're still having conversations about growing. That's the education aspect. That's the education portion. And I even like for this show, we're trying to let the young directors who coming in the game, trying to stop them at the door and be like, say, bro, I know you want to talk about, you want to blow that hoe. But at the end of the day, bro, you need to be teaching them kids. Your job as a high school band director is to prepare them to get into college. Once you did that, you did your job. Now, Portia, you said the culture about middle school band. I hate to tell you, my love, in New Orleans, they've been marching middle school band since the 90s and 80s. But to be fair, that has been the culture. And I must say, those middle school bands was damn good. There's the Andrew Bells, Leon Gacho Junior Highs, so forth and so on. So now, do I prefer that now that I've been in Texas? I prefer them to sit down and learn 6th through 8th grade what they're supposed to learn. Because once they hit 9th grade, they're going to be marching, until whenever. But yeah, I mean, I feel like we do have more band heads in the classroom than anything.
Can a band head be a music educator?
I'm going to be transparent.
And if so, what does that look like?
I'm going to be transparent. I was. I'm just telling you the real. I was. Being from where I'm from,
not
like,
now.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So first of all, so this is interesting. This is some interesting news. We're diving a little deeper. We're going a little bit more into Quan. Pause. So
ain't no
you gotta be ready. Yeah, we ain't trying to go that deep. But
shut up, man.
Hey, look, I just hit the one thing, and then you all of a sudden tried to back. Never mind.
Hey, I'm cool with who I am.
I'm gonna just leave it right there. But yeah, but my thing is, so what did that look like for you? Did you feel like you were giving giving and getting the best from your students? And then what makes you feel as though you needed to be something different?
So for me, I mean, bottom line, what I thought it wasn't. Again, when I graduated from PV, I believe I was 24. I got my first middle school band, I think at 25. Bro, you young. You don't even know how to make lesson plans for real. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't talking about just for the curriculum and instruction classes you take. Like, you don't even know how to function as an educator. And I was like, okay, I got these kids that's interested, but you're a percussionist. So the drum line, cool. Your trumpet player sucking. Your clarinets, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was so much. But then the more and more that I started attending TMEA, and then I was like, damn, how they produce that sound? Oh, okay, let me go back to my methods classes and different things like that and follow up and do different things to where I had to see, okay, my approach and attitude overall for a band is wrong. So I had to check myself. And I think that's the difference. And then I had to ask myself, is this approach benefiting the kids the most? And it wasn't. That's when I changed. Now, bless God, it only took 1 year. It didn't take 10 for me to, realize that it took 1 year. But I was like that too. But then also, I surrounded myself around people who attended Willow Ridge. And the stories about Mr. Thornton, the stories about other people, and having band mentors, honestly, that's what changed my approach to my perspective of everything too.
So, and this is not directly directed towards Quan. It's either one of you can pop out there and answer this. Mm-hmm. So if that be the case, and that's just Quan kind of telling his story, that doesn't necessarily mean that is specific to everybody. But if a band head can be a music educator, does that mean that at some level they are giving a disservice to a student?
At that point, yes.
How so?
At the reason why I say at that point, what I'm saying is the mentality that I had as a band head, it wasn't about the benefit of the kid. It was about me.
So
you can't.
So you're, and I just want to make sure I get it. Your perception of a band head is specifically a selfish perception.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And for me, a band head is a person that will go with whatever is trending. It's not about the kid. It's not about, okay, I'm gonna put this horn in this kid's hand. They can't hold it. It's heavier than them, but I got 50 on the field. Half of them ain't playing and sounding good, but they're on the field. It's about the approval and affirmation of who's in the crowd instead of, am I really teaching this kid? That's what a band head is to me. Like, could you imagine if Portia had, if she wanted just say 50 silks, that's what she wanted. I'm pretty sure she like, hell nah. But if she wanted 50 silks, and then out of the 50, you got 35 is shamming, but you got 50 on the field. I think some band directors feel like that. We bigger than y'all. Because again, numbers to a degree show success.
People say that, and they have said that, like, I've talked about how a lot of color guard is struggling, and we talked about it's just a us thing because they flourishing, but it's coming back. I'm seeing more of it, and that's a good thing. But I don't care about none of that. I say all the time in band camp, I mean, we always start out with way more than making the season. in band camp. But the standard is the standard. This is how we operate. And I don't care if I got 4 out there, they're going to be the tightest 4. We have checkoffs every week. I had a squad full of vets and 1 rookie last year. We still had checkoffs every week because I don't care about that.
So I think Portia, the difference is as the leader of the Silkettes, you have a sense of maturity, and like I was saying, for the greater good of that group, to ensure that you maintain that standard. And I see what people saying in the chat. Your first years, bro, you are in survival mode, and you only go back to what you know. It's kind of like, because you're in survival mode, it's like fight or flight. I'm gonna do what I know.
So
But-
if that's the case, then is it fair to say that your first year everybody's a bandhead then?
Not necessarily. Not if you was exposed to something different.
Right. If you went to a conservatory, if you went to, an institution where marching band wasn't
God.
the end all be all, then you probably are more prepared for the educational aspect of the job. Now, all the other stuff that go on, I tell they all the time, I would never want your job. The extra is too much, but they'll be more prepared probably to educate than anything else.
Prime example, we'll say like this. Now, when I use this analogy, please understand that I'm not calling him a bandhead at all. I believe he's one of the greatest music educators in the world. But I'm using this to prove this point, that you do what you know. When Mr. Thornton left school, he was at Forest Brook, right? Everybody during that time frame was explaining how at that time Forest Brook was marching 8 to 5, similar to Texas Southern, right? Cool, no issue. When he transitioned to Willow Ridge, he had to learn about core style, and then surrounded himself around people who made him better with that aspect, because this particular district, Fort Bend, lives and dies by UIL. That's maturity. That didn't alter his sound, his approach to pedagogy, education. But the truth is, he had to learn something new to get better. And I think if you have a heart after the kids, then that's what makes you an educator, because you're willing to continuously learn as well. I think that's the difference. Bandheads is self-absorbed. It's about me. You feel like you already arrived. I think that's the difference.
I hit the button. It didn't work. All right. Ooh, I'm going to bring that analogy back up in a second. And I'm going to tell you why. That's going to be later on. All right, man. Let's move on. Get this fry out my mouth. All right, welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered. Hey man, these fries are hitting. I'm trying to. Every time the camera go off, I'm smashing some fries right now. Welcome to Talk That Talk, where we have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Man, y'all go ahead and hit that like daddy, man. Don't even wait on it. As soon as you walk in the room, just go ahead and hit it. Hit the like daddy. Put the like button, please. All right, also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passions Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcast networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in Real Talk That Talk. Told you, man.
You passive aggressive, boy. I'm sorry. Could you please?
Hey, today is a different day, man. Hey, it's a lot going on, man. A lot going on.
God is good, man.
Absolutely. And worthy to be praised. All right, here we go. I did that one already. Along the lines of the last question that we just had, has the teacher shortage created more bandheads than music educators? Quan, since Portia did the last one, you are free to move about the cabin.
No, because if that was the case, they was hiring people that wasn't certified in the band area before. Just being honest, I think the difference is now with the teacher shortage, it's less qualifications that you need as a teacher. Period. Right? That's magnified. But you know, and I know there's certain districts that'll put you on a probationary certificate and throw you in there, or code you as a paraprofessional and throw you in there, or pay you under the table as after school duty and throw you in there.
Yeah.
So it ain't about that. It's about filling them credits for them kids if you're in high school, or I hate to say it like this, being a babysitter if you're in middle school or elementary. So it ain't got nothing to do with that. Fine arts has always been fighting for its legitimacy in the public school education. The only benefit thing that No Child Left Behind Act did was it basically solidified that fine arts has to be accredited, and then they're going to give a little bit money towards professional development. Outside of that, there was no benefit to it whatsoever. So I mean, when you look at it from that standpoint, nah, bro, it ain't the teacher shortage, doc. It was always looked at like that.
Portia, and then I'm gonna circle back on something. But go ahead, Portia. You on mute. You on mute. You on mute.
It's because I'm sleepy. I'm gonna agree with Quan. I think arts in general is always the last to be considered, or oh, we can't find nobody, we'll just throw a long-term sub in there. Like it's not a priority, like, and it should be. But I don't think it's called, the shortage has contributed to it. Like it just has never been something that people felt like they needed to recruit for, to seek the best for necessarily, unless you live in like a band state, or it's a band driven high school or band driven college. Like I know so many people who have had people say stuff to them like, just make it work. What does that mean? But that's crazy. Now, y'all know how I feel about this comment. Honestly, some of the unqualified folks were excellent educators and directors.
Well, I was gonna respond to that, but go ahead. I'll let you go ahead and do it, because I'll still say what I need to say.
Y'all didn't know the younger me, but she was different. And I'm sorry, I'm not listening to you.
Damn. You're just super rebellious.
Why are you telling me to go to class? You ain't go. You ain't got no degree. Listen, I know some people that do not have degrees that have given me some wisdom and have led me on a great path in life, but they were able to educate me on life skills that you can develop through experiences. What I'm going to say to you is, if I come and pay for a class at a place of higher education, you better have a higher education than me, or we got a problem. Who are you talking to? We should be going to class together, is what I would have said under these circumstances. That's just my opinion. Y'all don't have to agree, but I'm sorry. If I come to a university, the people in front of me should have a degree.
So the first thing I'm going to say is I realize that in these conversations, specifically when we're talking about degrees, certifications, or lack thereof, Portia is going to always default to that argument. And the funny thing is, I know where the energy of that argument comes from. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I just think it is hilarious that is always what she's going to default to. And to be quite honest, I mean, when we're talking about on a university level, she's not wrong. Because I mean, just to think about it, like there are some graduate students who merch, right? So if I'm a grad student, meaning I have a master's degree, and I'm calling you prof, and you don't even have an undergraduate degree.
How? No, ain't no prof, Mr. Miss.
Smith daddy. But moving forward, to go back to what Mr. Outlaw was saying, I will say this. I do kind of agree with him on a secondary level. There were some guys that I did meet, and some directors and things like that I did come in contact with who were not certified, but were really good teachers. Now some of them went later on and got their certification. Some of them did not. So with that being said, you know, and this is kind of off topic from the teacher shortage and things of that nature, but is it fair to judge those who did not receive their teacher certification but are really good teachers? Not at the university level, Portia. Let me make sure I make that clear. We're not at the university level, but go ahead, go on.
All right. So let me say this. I'm not ashamed to say it because hey, this was my story. For the first 7 years I taught, I wasn't certified.
Trash.
Call it what you want.
I'm just messing with you.
I mean, hey, and that don't hurt me. Do you dig? But here's what it was though. Matter of fact, when I was at IO Texas, I wasn't certified. See?
Okay, go ahead.
Yep, I wasn't in because this is the truth. The university didn't prepare me for that test, for that state test.
That's fair.
At all.
That's right.
And so when I graduated, I got in a relationship. I had a family, bro. I'm about to go get this job, or I'm gonna hit this block, pick one. So, it is what it is. So I got a job. It was a time when you could go to like a specific certification program. They saw that our student taught. They was like, bro, just pass your test. Here your probationary certificate. You good for 3 years in the state of Texas. Cool. Boom. After them 3 years, them boys was like, what you gonna do? I went to a charter. The first charter that I went to, the man say, I see you got a degree, but you're not certified. That man paid me $37,000 in a year. 37. I had to make do what it do. Crazy thing is, after that, I'm working hard, still playing around with the test. I end up failing it by 1 point, so now I'm discouraged. Backdoor. Everything now that I'm serious about taking the test, I ended up writing curriculum and everything while having a master's degree, while like going to master's school. I messed around, did all that work to turn it into the dude. The dude fired me that day. End up going to IO Texas. They had another band director who I saw that was teaching that was trash. And I found out he passed the certification test. And I was like, hell no. This dude trash. And he passed. I need to get better. I took my time, prayed, disciplined myself, passed the test the next time. I passed it by an extra 25 points. Did the same thing for the PPR. And then when I became fully certified, then I transitioned to Worthing. While I'm here at Worthing, I've learned so much here about being a band director. I've been teaching 10 years this year. My story different. So I don't crap on nobody who's not certified. But what I do tell them though is you can't sit at the table with certain people without those credentials, and that's the truth. That's the bottom line for what it is. And yeah, you may be a great teacher, but what example are you proving to others when you don't have that certification? Because this is what's gonna happen. Every time you build that situation up, the next principal could be like, hey, bro, you're not certified, move around. So you're literally building programs for somebody else to take it. That don't make no sense. Now, when you speak about the second, the higher ed level, that's just no excuse. That means you don't want to pay somebody. If you're a grad student and then you're in front of the line and you in front of the band, that means you don't want to pay another professional to do it. And what I realized, hanging with people like Luke, Rick, and everybody, they're professional musicians. It's a difference. And you need to pay people that type of way. So I don't crap on nobody because I feel like I was teaching well then. But at the same token, I didn't that test anxiety is real. But I did it because I knew that to where I want to go, I had to do it. So I encourage, and that's why I always help people become certified. So
I did not know, one, that you were not certified when I was working with you, or when I came in contact with you, because we didn't work together, but came in contact with you at IO Texas. If I had known that, I would have shunned you that moment. But no, I one of the things that comes to mind, just kind of hearing your story though, and I just got to be that guy, and I guess, you know, I choose to be that guy every now and then. You know, certification is the legitimacy of saying that, you know, you're quote unquote qualified to educate or whatever, or teach certain kids or whatever, or teach kids, period, right? My thing is, certification and a level of education doesn't make you a good teacher. And I think that that's something that we miss, right? Like when I was an undergrad, matter of fact, I'll relate it in two different ways. When I was an undergrad, I went to Norfolk State. Norfolk State costs a lot of money. I was an undergrad student. And so there were people who were graduating who had gotten in the program, got in, hit their 4-year daddies, and was out. Graduated. And I'm still in the program, like, bruh, this person graduated, got in, hit it, and then got out. But they suck as like a music educator. Like I've watched them in class. They suck. But I'm sitting here struggling. To me, it's very, and this is the other this is the other thing I'm going to relate it to. To me, it's very similar to that process when you online and when you start and you going through the process, and then you look at that one dude that just like that one lame dude that you just like, how he make it? If he made it, then I gotta make it. There ain't no way that he made it and I ain't gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how I look at it, right? So I guess I'm saying all that to say, I know that we put a lot on certification because that's the process. That's what you have to do. That is what the rule and regulation says. But I kind of agree with Mr. Outlaw at the point of saying some people can just teach, but they may not have their certification. You know, some people, it's kind of like you said, Quan. Like, I'm gonna be real. I took the test twice. I failed it the first time, went back and passed it the second time. Because very similar to you, Quan, I wasn't prepared for the test. You know, and you know, at Norfolk, well, in the state of Virginia, we take the practice. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a level of information that's on that practice that's no different from the Texas exam. But Norfolk didn't prepare me for the practice. They just didn't. You know what I'm saying? And so I wasn't prepared for that test. So yeah, I failed it the first time. But saying all that to say, I knew guys very similar to you, Quan, who suck at teaching, but were certified. And I knew some guys who were not certified and was doing the exact same thing that you were saying, getting that probationary daddy, going in and teaching, and then hopping to the next one. And they were good teachers. So I think, I guess my whole point of saying this is I think that, you know, there are good teachers out there who are not certified. Go get your credentials. But I think that goes back to a lot of what we've said in the past about HBCUs preparing our students and preparing students to be ready for these certification exams and to be ready to be educators. And I think that all kind of is bottled into that particular situation. I know that we got way off the teacher shortage question. We got way far off that. I mean, I guess that kind of passed anyway when we were like, no, they ain't got nothing to do with it. But you know, hey, it is what it is. All right. Man, we rolling through these today. All right, cool. We're gonna be out of here before let's see, was it 8:44? We're gonna be out of here before 9:30. I'm gonna try to get you out of here before 10:30, Portia, so you can go ahead and get your nap. That ain't the wig, daddy, is it? That's break. Okay, all right. Because I was about to say you're gonna snatch that daddy off and just go straight to sleep. All right, here we go. Welcome everybody to Talk That Talk. We have the unfiltered, unscripted, uncomfortable conversation about band, HBCU band culture, music education, and more. Go ahead and smash the like daddy now. Get it in. Just go ahead and smash it. All right. Also, please make sure you subscribe to the Passionates Network and turn on notifications. This episode will be up on all your podcasts and networks. Just type in Talk That Talk, except for on Apple Podcasts, where you can type in real Talk That Talk. All right. Why you look like that, Portia? Okay. This is the last question. I'm going to go ahead and put the link inside of the chat. So if you want to cam up, which I would suggest you do, man. One of the things is, man, y'all be talking in that chat, which I definitely support. But man, y'all go ahead and click the link. I understand some of y'all got bonnets on your head, some of y'all laying in the bed. It's all cool. I don't have a problem with that. I just expect for us to look, presentable and stuff like that. But for y'all, man, y'all can do whatever you want as long as you came up. Just had a conversation with us. But anyway, I'm gonna put the link inside of the chat, and then if you want to come in and talk that talk with us, you can do that. All right, here we go. Last question. Does lack of accountability help to shape bandhead culture as we know it? Does lack of accountability help to shape bandhead culture as we know it? Portia, you got the floor first.
Yep. You don't see this kind of foolishness in DCI because they got real competitions, real judges, and real winners. We just be having battles and it be in the field of public opinion. And nobody's getting adjudicated. Nobody's looking for anything out of these battles other than it being loud and ridiculous. And so we have band heads because nobody's being adjudicated. Okay, nobody is really questioning. This show we get a bad rep because we bougie and we looking for too much, and we have this ain't about all that. Most people aren't looking for a complete sound. Everything ain't in the stratosphere. So yes, there is no accountability. We have given, I ain't even gonna say that. Anybody can be a band head and we'll give them a platform and let them run with it and subscribe to their following. That don't happen in that other world. You got to know what you know and be able to show and proof, or people don't pay you no mind. Over here, you scream loud enough, you talking about the right stuff, and that's figuratively the right stuff. People will legitimize you, and you'll be an authority on something you never did.
And I heard everything you said, but when you said the right stuff, I'm sorry. I just sorry. But okay, all right, cool. I'm sorry, new kids on the block. All right, Quan, does lack of accountability help to shape bandhead culture as we know it today?
No, lack of exposure does. So I feel like lack of exposure does. Not so much the accountability, but lack of exposure and a lack of appreciation that something is different. Something could be different. That don't mean you like it. Cool, but that don't mean you got to devalue it either. That's why we do appreciate Simon, because we literally say, yeah, bro, we know you be on that crank that, but we invited you to DCI. He wasn't able to make it, but I believe that if he could, he would have. I think that's the difference. Like when he went with y'all to Cali in regards to Norfolk, he was like, man, the approaches y'all doing such and such, that was fire. I think when you sit down truly and think about it, that's how we all should be. It's music, dog. I mean, I think that's another thing that matured me fast too. I just didn't want to play rap tunes. I just didn't want to play 90s R&B. I like country music, certain things of country music. I like certain things of rock and roll. I like 80 power ballads, whatever the case may be. My thing is, at the end of the day, to be an educator, you need to educate them for the world, not just for your box. And I think that's the difference. So in my opinion, lack of exposure.
Okay. So a couple of things surrounding that. First of all, Quan wanted everybody to know that he's a little bit country and he's a little bit rock and roll. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back around to your Mr. Thornton analogy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so you brought up the thought process that when Mr. Thornton came out of TSU and then he was at Forest Brook, he did what he knew. And then at that point, yeah, that's why I looked. I don't know why my daughter's yelling in the background. Anyway, but and then when he got to Willow Ridge, he had to go and learn, this new style that he was not necessarily comfortable with. Would you say that because he wanted to be better, or it was because he was held accountable for a standard of what he had in that district?
For Ben?
Yeah.
A little bit of both. And the reason why I say a little bit of both, from what I know, the time that Mr. Thornton, he arrived, that area of Missouri City was changing demographically. And it was changing to where a more upper echelon, middle class neighborhood for African Americans. So the parents were like from the hood, but the kids grew up in the suburban area. And he knew that I'm going to speak to these Black and brown kids, that parents are hardworking and the type of music that they like. Heather had told me all the time when she was at Kristen McCullough, it was big talk when Mr. Thornton had played Down Home Blues at a game, and the parents went crazy, and literally the next week, for the week of middle school, the parents was like, "Hey, y'all going to Willow Ridge?" And where they used to practice, you could I can't recall, but you could line up by the fence and see them practicing on the field, and that was that type of thing. So not only did he cater to the people that look like him, but he also catered to that community. But he also was mindful to let them know the truth is, to get through this world as African Americans, you have to be great at both. And in my opinion, he was the epitome of that. So I believe it was a little bit of both of what he did, or what he had to do at Willow Ridge.
So I first of all, what I will tell you is, as soon as you said Down Home Blues, man, that freshman year. Anyway, but so what I will tell you is a lot of that story is true. But what I am going to say is that I still think that is a level of accountability based on a standard, because if they didn't have a standard and he was accountable for that standard, I think that he would have came and did the same thing he did at Forest Brook. But because of the fact that there was a standard in the district and the expectation was he was accountable by saying, you know what, because I have to do it this way, I'm going to learn it, and then I'm going to apply it to where it is relatable to the students that I do have. I think to me it's a level of accountability and a standard. You know, so and that's just the way I look at it, and that's where I'm leaning towards as I'm looking or I'm thinking about this question, right?
Mhm.
There are some areas and regions and districts that don't have a specific standard and a level of accountability as it pertains to musicianship. There are some regions and areas that don't require you to go to your festivals.
But I think, while I agree, I'm gonna say to speak about Mr. Thornton. The reason why I say it's different. So everybody that knows him know he had a good sounding band, regardless of style. Correct? Will we agree to that?
I would agree to that.
Cool. So we all know that still in the state of Texas, it's still hard for you to capture a sweepstakes or a one superior rating if you're marching traditional style marching. Even to this day, it's easier to a degree, but at that time, you wasn't about to get one. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
So even though the district, quote unquote, like that was the thing, there was no way that he would have attained some of the success and accolades if he wouldn't have said, I'm gonna conform to a degree. Not just the standard of Fort Bend, but the standard of Texas. Like, if y'all going to UIL, if you could have a fire 8 to 5. I'm talking about kaleidoscope drill, 8 to 5 fire. He still wouldn't have got it. Even if that would have been perfect. Because at that time, his arrival of the 80s through 90s, because it wasn't core, he wouldn't have got it. And think about it now. Some of the programs that have gotten it outside of like your Sunset, most of them have to do aspects of both to have an appreciation from the adjudicators.
I still think it's the same thing. I think that that's still a level of accountability and standard, right? Like first of all, you're still talking about Mr. Thornton. I think that Mr. Thornton is an anomaly within itself. But
Correct.
But even if we're looking at that, I still think that he understood. He knew walking into that situation, if I look at the surrounding schools, I realize I can't do this.
Correct.
So to me, that's still a level of accountability amongst oneself.
But I feel like I'm sorry.
To say that I know, I realize I can't do this. I can't do what I'm used to doing. Mm-hmm. So I have to go out and be accountable for the success of this program. So I have to go out and learn this thing so that I can bring it back to this program so this program can be successful.
But I feel like I don't feel like that's accountability. I also feel like he had to conform to the preference of the adjudicated for the state. If he was great at doing 8 to 5, just that alone, and you put that 8 to 5 against anyone against the country, and an adjudicator wasn't biased to that particular style, would he have won, in your opinion?
Yeah.
So it's not about the accountability. That's about the preference of the people that's judging you. So if we going into a fight, or we going into a game, or we going into something, entertainment, whatever, and I know that the judges like this, I'm gonna do it according to with the judges. That don't mean I like it. That ain't got nothing to do with accountability. That got everything to do with preference of the adjudicators, and he knew it.
So let me ask this question another way then, or let's put it in a different way, because once again we're talking about an anomaly here, because I have not seen another school do what Mr. Thornton was able to accomplish
to this day,
and I thank God that I was a part of that. But and I'm just going to throw a random school out there. I'm not saying this about anybody. I'm not really putting this judgment on anybody. But you take you take a Sunset, because you mentioned Sunset earlier. You take
Correct.
Sunset and you take them to solo and ensemble, and they go on stage and they play "Back That Thing Up" as their concert piece. Do you think that's a level of accountability for that band director? Even though, let's be real, Sunset in the past has not been a bad sounding group
at all, right?
So is that a level? Is that a lack of accountability for that band director to go on stage and do that?
No. It's not. No. I don't know how to say it. They shouldn't do it. Let me say it like this: they shouldn't do it. Let me be clear. They shouldn't do it. Why? Well, number one, why? Because it's not a part of the PML, and the people have not looked at it as "quote unquote" accepted literature.
Okay, so pause then.
Okay.
So that to me is in the same vein as the argument of Mr. Thornton. Then.
And I knew you were gonna go there because I know you. And this is why I respectfully disagree. I disagree because of this reason. A marching style has nothing to do with the sound. The marching style has nothing to do. If you marching 8 to 5 and your squad hit that line like it's supposed to, your squad do that pinwheel like it's supposed to, y'all make that specific design like you're supposed to. Hypothetically speaking, if you took a Southern University style band and put that drill on the field, and it's a butt kicking drill, and they do that drill to the best of their ability, that high school, you know, and I know in the state of Texas, they're not going to judge them the same as if they're going to judge a core style.
But they wouldn't
It's
judge
not accountability. That's preference, bro.
I see your point. But there are a lot more factors to that besides the marching style that you're bringing up. They wouldn't judge them. They wouldn't judge them the same specifically on their marching style. They wouldn't judge them the same because most of those bands don't sound good.
No. I know. I'm saying in a perfect world. Okay, so I'm not talking about the ones that sound bad.
Even if you took Willow Ridge, even if you took Willow Ridge at the time when I was marching, at the time when Heather was marching, when we did our show style show versus our core style show, when we talk about sound, how we approach the music, sound, so on and so forth, we even is thinking about to die thing. Even when we played Down Home Blues, going back to that, playing Down Home Blues was a lot different. And I'm going to the times when I was there because I don't remember what they played in '97. But even playing Down Home Blues and then playing Princess Leia's theme, there was a different sound in those two approaches, right? So if we took Down Home Blues to a UIL show, then I'm telling you that we wouldn't have gotten a 1, not because of how we were marching, but because of the fact that of the approach of the music. That's just the balance and the balance and the blend of the music. That's just that's what I'm saying. There was going to an adjudication or not even just going to adjudication, but even just wanting to have a certain sound or a certain approach or a level of education still is an accountability upon that director to know what is best for that program. That's what I'm saying. So when Mr. Thornton, I'll use Mr. Thornton, and then I'm gonna go back to the Sunset. When Mr. Thornton put us on the field at UIL, yes, the marching part was a part of it. I'm not gonna take that away. But there was also a different approach in how we approached the music, which was a level of accountability on Mr. Thornton and ourselves because we wanted to make sure that we were doing what we were supposed to do. Same thing with Sunset. If they go on stage and they don't march, because obviously they ain't marching, but if they play Back That Thing Up, that is a lack of accountability for that director to allow them to go in there knowing that that is not acceptable.
And that's correct. But there's also the show style or traditional style marching bands that did receive ones. They played Michael Jackson and different things. They didn't sound bad. That's what I'm saying. I'm not speaking about I'm speaking about in an ideal world, PPR example.
But we ain't talking about that because the ideal world don't exist.
No, it doesn't. But what I'm saying is this to you: at the end of the day, you know that style of marching matters in Texas. Would you agree on that?
I'm 50-50 on that.
Okay.
No,
Well,
go ahead.
but here's the thing: even if you 50 or 50, the people that's adjudicating ain't gonna be on that 50 that appreciate it. Most of them not. And we're gonna keep it a dialogue like Maya would say. Most of them people not gonna appreciate it like that. So that's one. I'm not speaking about the sound. What I'm saying is if you sound damn good and you're marching 8 to 5, bro, you still not gonna get a 1 unless you put some core style movements up in there. How do I know? Sunset had to do it. They did it. Like most bands that did straight show style got 2s and they didn't sound bad. And we know some DCI or core style groups that sound half as good as some of them that receive superior ratings. Like we not gonna act like it don't go down in Texas like that.
So I'm gonna say this. This is the reason because Portia is like, look, y'all
I'm gonna hang up. Y'all keep talking.
Look, I get it. But I'm gonna say it like this. This is the reason why I'm 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
And this is no shot to anybody out there. So please, I want to make sure I put that out there first. One, there are very few traditional style shows as it pertains to UIL that I've seen that sounded good. Please show me the video. That's the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the second thing is there is a level, and most notably, more recently, a level of adjudication that is happening in UIL where a lot more people are getting 1s.
I agree.
And that's, to me, is not dedicated specifically to the fact of whether you're doing a core style show or a traditional style show. I really think, and this is just my personal opinion, and if people can be upset about it or not, but I really think that a lot of situations right now, a lot of adjudicators are being a lot more lenient towards Black schools. And I'm not saying that some of these schools sound bad or anything, but what I am saying is, unlike what it was 2-3 years ago, there are a lot more schools with that look like us that are receiving a lot more 1s. And I'm talking field presentation and on stage. Once again, I'm not saying that people sound terrible. That's not what I'm saying. But I do think that there is a level of leniency that a lot of adjudicators are giving right now in UIL. Basically to say that I think that it can still be possible for somebody to do a traditional style show and get a 1 if you sound good. I think the problem is most of the time they don't sound good. I just think that is typically the case. Now, aside from that, are there schools who do core style who get 1s who probably shouldn't get 1s? Absolutely. But I think that more or less goes along with the good old boys club, because like I know. Why are you looking like that?
Because it's like, is that accountability? Because that's what the same thing I'm talking about. Like you dig what I'm saying? Like I'm talking about that same thing, but just reverse.
But my thing is, and once again, put this out here. I'm not saying this in a negative way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about us. I ain't talking about them. I'm just saying that's the good old boys club. So I'm more concerned about us. I'm just saying that those who get it that don't sound good is probably because of that connection.
Facts.
But once again, that's them. I'm more concerned about us. So I'm just saying that, going back to the accountability piece that Portia has checked out on, Just
I'm here to dance. That's it. That's it.
oh man.
I just came to dance for y'all. That's all.
That's
Uh,
all.
but but when it goes back to that accountability piece, I think that when it comes to us, I think that there isn't a lack of accountability to some degree. And I'm not saying it's even necessarily in the state of Texas,
Mhm.
because there is a standard in the state of Texas that we must all uphold when we are, you know, in these programs. And we sign on the dotted line in most cases, in most of our districts, we are signing on the dotted line to participate in adjudicated, you know, performances. That's our job. It's part of the job, you know. But I think that there is a level of accountability in other places, other regions, and other states that don't have that same thing. And so because of that, I think that, in my personal opinion, helps to shape the band head culture. Because if I don't have a standard and a level of accountability to live through, then going back to what your point about what you were saying earlier, Quan, about the selfishness of the band head culture, which in this part I kind of agree, then I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do that makes me feel good.
That's fair.
So that's all I was saying. That's all I was saying.
And I end with this. I agree with that aspect and that approach, but I feel like it would be irresponsible for me to not highlight the injustices that some really good bands have faced when going to UIL, and they did sound good.
That's fair. That's fair. And honestly, I don't disagree with that. Actually, on that front,
I agree.
I mean, it's just the truth. There has been in years past a major disservice as it relates to our bands, our students, our traditional shows. So much so, and I've told you candidly, but I don't mind having this discussion outwardly too. During my master's class, I was able to have a discussion with one of the people who worked at UIL, and I was able to go back and forth with them and try to understand why there is a military style portion to UIL, but there isn't a traditional style. How is one fair and the other isn't? So you're going to be judged specifically on your style, but then you're expecting our students and our kids and our programs to conform to what's uncomfortable to them. And I've had that argument before with UIL before. And so that is kind of what spawned the US band's show style or traditional style adjudicated performances. That's kind of where that comes from. And I appreciate, the brothers who are putting that together, or who have put that together with US bands, because it gives us a chance and our students a chance and our programs a chance to be adjudicated fairly on what we do. But once again, I agree that you're absolutely right. And there still needs to be more fights that need to be had in that space as far as UIL is concerned. If I'm not mistaken, there is a mariachi division of UIL adjudication. If I'm not mistaken, it's been a while since I've actually looked at it, but Quan, you can probably let me know if that's true or not. But once again, there is the military style portion of marching band that I think is very unfair, that they can be able to go and be adjudicated on their specific style, and then UIL not being understanding of the fact that what our people want to see and our spectators are different than what the typical I don't want to necessarily say what Caucasian school wants to see. They will start their drills during the summer and work them all the way until UIL time. Our spectators don't give us that advantage. Our spectators want to see a different show every 2 weeks. Anytime there's one game, they'll give you another game, but by that next game, they want to see something different. They want to see a different dance routine. They want to hear some different music. They want to see something different. And so the expectation is for our kids to be able to do that. And so, you know, it's just more arguments and conversations that need to be had in certain sectors. So, all right. Sorry, Portia.
I'm over here holding on for dear life.
You better hold it. Whee! You better hold it.
Well, I love you. And I'm pretty sure she loves you too, but I got to bring her in here because, you know, she's backstage. So let me see if she gonna, let's see. Hey,
I didn't even know if it was working because my family got me outside on the porch because Lauren wants to practice at like 10. What time is it? It's 10 o'clock at night practicing clarinet. Man, be quiet.
Right on.
Yeah, I know. Out on the porch like a slave. Anyway, I wanted to talk about the accountability thing. I think one thing that everybody is missing, I guess the thing that grinds my gears. I'm gonna go that direction. What grinds my gears about the accountability talk is that the ball got moved, goalposts got moved for the millennials, the us, 35 and up. It got moved. And so now people don't have to have all those credentials to get very far, very fast. And instead of them kind of understanding that the goalposts got moved in their favor, they run their damn mouth.
That's true.
They run their mouth. They act like the goalpost wasn't moved in their favor. Like, and I'm not knocking the hustle. I mean, you know, everybody wants to make it big quick, but if you're gonna make it big quick, don't act like the person that been in the classroom for 15 years, you know, fighting principals. You know, they just fired my principal that was heinous to me for 10 years. It took 10 years to fire the principal. You know how many staff we lost in those 10 years? 60 in the department chairs for every group left. Every subject left over those 10 years. So you can't say that those department chairs who had been teaching 20 years sucked because they couldn't deal with a terrible principal. Now you got principals that's like, I just want the marching band. When a lot of us came in, they wanted a marching band, jazz band, choir. They want a mariachi band. They wanted us to do everything, sub classes. And so we got burnt out, and you got people with a lot of fire. And I like the new energy. I really like the new energy. But it's almost like, yeah, we got that fire, and that's why we doing things. No, you doing things because people sacrificed for you. People got stepped on, ran over. I put in the chat that I would have been certified graduating. They changed the laws on us. I got caught up in No Child Left Behind and Common Core. You know, and now they rolling back these things. Rightfully so, some of these things needed to be rolled back. It just kind of, I'm be honest, it pissed me off when people like, oh man, y'all just mad because these young folk can build a band program. No, these young folk can build a band program because people ain't sweating their behinds like they used to sweat us. And it's cool. It's cool because the change needed to happen. I just think people forget that. I guess the word is you never forget the struggles of others. Like I went to college because my mother didn't, you know. My mother was able to move from the South because my grandparents, there was no retirement, you know. They were always working. My grandfather cut grass until he was 72 years old. So I think they just forget that, like, every generation you do get one step ahead because somebody sacrificed, someone shed blood, sweat, and tears for you to get there. And then, you know, where it used to be you would kind of pay some type of homage, even if they felt like they weren't, like, we didn't feel like our directors did everything right, but we wouldn't like just be like, man, you know, you suck. Your band was only 20 members. Yeah, but you ain't have to sit in those IEP meetings instead of recruiting. So I just think the accountability issue I have is there's no accountability to where people came from and how they got there. It's just the microwave generation hit and everybody feels like they've achieved. And I'm like, can you play all those instruments in that room? Because I come from the generation where you had to. And the generation before us, they had to play everything in the room, write for everything in the room, and scrap and scrape, and nobody was coming to their rescue. They ain't have a bunch of homeboys helping them out. So I just want them to remember, like, that accountability piece. It is, you have accountability to recognize that you didn't get it on your own. I know sure as hell I didn't. That's my piece. That's my accountability piece for today.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. There was not one thing that you said that I disagree with at all. I didn't even know you got caught up in that certification thing too in undergrad.
I was one semester from graduating, and the law hit. They said everybody had to have that teaching in the content. I'll never forget it. Reading level 1 and 2. And I sat there, I said, I can't do another year of undergrad. I refuse.
I changed my major so let me take I'm sorry.
So I'm really a performance major. A lot of people don't know. I'm really a performance major. And then I went back a year later and got the master's in music education. I got a master's in curriculum just because I felt like it was easier to do.
Look at here. I was at the end of my course, literally a week. Me and Latoya Webb, I gotta say doctor now. Dr. Latoya Webb were in the same class. At the week before the class was over, at 2:00 in the morning, they send us an email saying you cannot pass this class unless you go and pass your praxis for your certification. And we was like, what? And this was
had no idea.
Student teaching. And we was sitting like, oh no. Now some people went and paid for it and failed it, but whatever. But I was like, nope. I changed my major to interdisciplinary studies the next week. And then I was like, yeah, I went in there the first 3 days. I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. I went back. But my degree from Norfolk State is I have a music education degree with emphasis in media, because we could take the media track at Norfolk State and it still be under the education, but we didn't have to go through the whole education piece. We just got the media piece.
But imagine you went through the whole piece and somebody like, oh, there's 6 credits that your state saying.
That's what happened to me. That's what I had a couple of credits left, and then they thank God, rest of soul, Miss Randolph was able to switch some classes around so I can get them last credits through the media department. That's why I know about media stuff too, because of those couple of classes that I had to take in media.
And that's why I know about curriculum writing, because I went and got a master's in curriculum real quick. I graduated with 142 credits. There ain't no way you're doing that in 4 years. And I was so mad. But I just, I hear the argument that we want people to be qualified to teach. I hear that argument because absolutely, I don't want nobody in front of my son that don't know what the hell they talking about, that ain't studied to show that self-approved. But what I also don't want people to do is think that if you had to take an alternative route, that you are less than. Like, I didn't have no struggles teaching. I came in the classroom and I was able to write lesson plans and I passed all my pedagogy classes. I just got caught by the goalposts, moved just 1 inch out the way. And so I just don't want people, I see that argument. I've seen that argument on social media. It was like, people went interdisciplinary studies. I was like, but you don't know what the circumstances of how they went there. Let's just talk about the fact they went to college and finished. Now, I'll tell you one thing, I might have a problem if you ain't even go. I'm just gonna say, if you ain't even go, I can wink and have understanding if you went and had to do some things to get out that daddy. But if you ain't even go and you talk about you got fired, and I supervise the future. I am the supervisor of the student internships now. And what I see at my PWI is folk going in there knowing how to get through that IEP meeting, They got portfolios. They have to go do all these observation hours. And they're not just doing it in a safe space. They're doing it in urban classrooms. They're doing it in rural situations. Some schools are better preparing educators than others. I'll say that. And if you not going to school, you can't tell me you know how to make it through that observation process. Unless your principal just winking at you and talking about crank that band up. Now then you might be getting them 4s and them highly effectives because they don't care that much. But go somewhere where they care that much and you really want to get a raise. You're gonna have to prove that you know how to look at some data on them kids. You better find the crank up data and hey, I've done it. Be like, these kids can play a C minor scale because we were playing this. But I don't know. I just that accountability. There's accountability to study. That's where I want the accountability to do. I'll leave you alone with the college and your degree. I just want you to say that you study. Don't you be coming to me talking about I don't know those fingerings because I don't play that instrument. Get out my face. Get out my face. Because I promise I know the trombone positions. I know their tendencies too. I promise I can play at least 20 of the good 40 rudiments and show a kid how to do it. That's the part I want accountability for, the study part, instead of just acting like, I could wave my hands around and write 4 parts stacked in perfect fifths. I'm a theory teacher. Perfect fifths are talking about this joint fire. Yeah, okay. Do you know why it's fire? Nope, I just put it down. That's my rant for today. That's my rant for today.
All right, sis. You already know. Appreciate it.
I'm about to go in here and eat this chicken.
Yeah, tell Lauren to stop cranking up this late.
Man, she playing Rigoletto at the top. See that? Yeah, I'm serious. Like you hear? Y'all want to hear?
No, we can hear.
Y'all can hear?
Yeah,
I'm outside. She loud as hell.
She is.
Yeah, but good talking to y'all, fam. You see, I got my side swoop daddy for bed. I'm gonna stop just doing a little bonnet right on the side.
Oh,
See, Portia though. All right, good night.
all right. Let's try to get Portia in the bed. So with that being said, Portia, any final thoughts?
Boy, Quan is such a professional. That boy. Oh my goodness. Just, whatever you do, you should want to be the best at it. Whatever you do, you should want to do it well. So there are some people that can teach great things without the education, but think about how much more you could teach or much more you could offer if you got an education. Education is important. And I think a lot of times what I tell myself is the generations before me didn't have these opportunities. So now that we have them, we're used to them. We often take them for granted. College is not for everybody. I got that. But whatever you're going to do, whether it's a trade or whatever, you should want to gain some knowledge in that area so that you are secure in whatever you're doing. So just seek knowledge, and that should be a continuous thing in life. Anything that's not growing is dead.
Hello. Quan, any final thoughts? Anything you got for the culture?
Just keep pushing, y'all. Let's keep having these conversations. But as the end of this school year, as we approach the end of this school year, as we go into next year, ask yourself, how can I be better? And if you know you could do better, do better. For the sake of the kids, not you. That's all I got.
Cool. A couple of things before we get out of here. Me and Quan have talked behind the scenes. I told you guys on last episode or last show that my summer is going to be like really crazy. We are going to try we are going to try, depending upon dates and locations, to get to a mass band performance this year. We have talked about it. Me and Quan have. Portia, we got to get you in on these conversations.
Yeah, you got to.
You be busy.
You got to be blessed in. You got to get blessed in.
You be busy having them drinking sessions at your house with the staff. You know, we can't be invited to those. You know, but no.
We was working.
No, I know we was working on the liquor about the plan. But no.
Portia say she's not traveling with us because every time she travel with us, her flight get delayed. Red talk.
It got delayed last time.
It did, bro.
That's how we was able to go get that catfish and grits. Because I was just sitting there waiting, talking to Quan, and look, boop, yo, your flight's been delayed 2 hours.
See, but that gave you a reason to get a good meal.
It did, but the last time it was crazy. I ain't know how I was getting back to Virginia.
Hey,
we all figured it out.
We for sure got to go to the National Battle of the Band again. That got to be our thing.
We had a time.
Lord, don't be hey y'all. You should not have been playing clarinet this late. But yeah, National Battle Band's gonna happen. I'm just gonna leave it at that for the moment. But yeah, if it's in New Orleans again and we commit to going, you going. Yeah,
you gotta come. You gotta roll, man.
My summer is crazy. Like I'm going somewhere every month, so I would need to.
We got to.
Yeah, I mean, we trying to get them dates together, but you gotta, we gotta get the dates when they post the dates. It ain't on us. So, you big time, you all right. So yeah, we gonna figure it out, man. That's all I'm saying. But other than that, man, this has been a dope show. This has been a dope episode. Don't forget that there is an episode that we have coming up that I'm still working on behind the scenes. Remember, if you know who Burger Brooks is, we have been in conversation. So just be on the lookout for that, man. What I would definitely say about this is, if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready. Whatever, Lord. I ain't gonna hit it. Anyway, you keeping people up at night. But look forward to that information coming out. Also, man, I'm sorry to hear this, but if you are a Houston fan, we are number 4 in the pick for the NBA. Hey, it is what it is. We still gonna rock out with Ime Udoka.
Hold on, let me show you something. Hold on.
See, he taking up your time, Portia. I was trying to cut it short. Now he want to show me something.
I do, because I'm not a Houston fan, but I had to go and get it, bro.
Oh,
I had to go and get it. I know. I had to go and get it.
Is that green and gold?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's super dope.
I had to go and get it for you, boy.
That's
the
one.
whole.
Because look,
that's
I'm homecoming with that joint on, dog.
That's funky.
Hey, I'm gonna call you. Well, once we done, I'm gonna call you. You got me. I'm gonna call you. I may bless you. You did. I may bless you.
That's
funky. When they came out with them city jerseys this year, me and the wife was like, "Yo, we gotta get one, man." God dang.
Just had to tell you. You know what I'm saying? Match my dunks for the Worthing. So
anyway. Man, today he just brought my energy down. But anyway, man, nonetheless, man, look, I don't care what y'all band head, music educator. The most important thing is you think about them kids at the end of the day. It's about educating these kids and making these kids better. And if you're doing that, then you are doing the right job. I don't have anything else, man. This has been super dope. Quan gonna be walking out of here. Right now. Snatch her wig off, hair out or extensions out, whatever she's gonna do, but she's going to bed.
She got braids on.
She gonna tie it up and put it in.
They going in a bonnet.
Yes, sir. All right. Other than that, man, I ain't got nothing else, man. You guys be great. We will see you guys next week.